What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Ogre Battle 64. Let's continue on with Scene 1 in the Tenne Plains. So if we unpause the game and let everyone go, Fidesz has liberated Bordeaux. There's nothing interesting here. Every town that you arrive to, you have the option to enter the stronghold and kind of talk to someone there. But I'm not really going to be doing that unless there's something significant to do in that stronghold, just because it takes kind of a long time to do, and I just don't really care for it. So something I forgot to do last time, I want to go through every unit and attack it, set to attack leader. I tend to think that's almost always the best option for your tactics. So I believe they're both, I'm going to let them reduce their fatigue a little bit. And now this witch is attacking our team. So we got a bit of an encounter here. So because we're set to attack leader, everyone who's able to should focus on the witch. Now witches use... they don't actually do any damage. They use status-inflicting attacks. She used Ray of Paralysis, which prevented Magnus from attacking that turn. They're not very good, to be honest. So now what I want to do is I want to take Magnus and send him after this witch. You can see on the top left there it says unit. If you hit R, you can switch between stronghold, unit, and location, and that just determines like what your cursor kind of locks onto. So like if it's set to unit, see it kind of tracks onto the units. And if we set to stronghold, it kind of tracks onto the stronghold. And if it's set to location, we just kind of move it around freeform. So now I want to take. Actually no, Dio's just going to stay put. I want Dio to engage this knight, but I'm going to let the knight come to him, because that way the engagement will happen on the stronghold. Oh, it looks like he's actually going after Magnus. That's... okay, well, whatever. Now see, he engaged Magnus from behind, so his unit is going to be flipped around. See, the archers are in the front, and the soldiers are in the back, and so is Magnus. And this is one of those cases where the graphics screw up. Now this puts us at a serious disadvantage for a few reasons, which I'll get into a little bit more later. But basically, everyone's actions are dependent on... like, your unit formation is very important in this game. And this is a good example why, because like I did not do very well in that fight at all. I did better than them, but that's because they're terrible. And so let's take a look here. Actually, let's demonstrate this from not dispatch, organized screen. So if you look at this unit and we look at Magnus, you see there on the right there's 3 little lines that says //healing. And to the left of it, there's like a little grid with a block on it. And that shows you that in the front row, he does slash times 2. In the middle row, he does slash times 1. And in the back, he does healing times 2. And that healing is just because he's got the blessed sword on. So in the front, he attacks twice. In the middle, he only attacks once. And in the back, he attacks twice. Or heals twice. Similarly, for fighters... in the front, they attack twice, but in the back, they only attack once, so you want them in the front. These guys, Amazons, they shoot twice from the back, but in the middle or the front, they only shoot once, so you want them to be in the back. So what row you put people in determines their attacks. And let's see if I got a good example here. A lot of times, you'll have different powers in different rows as well. See here, the archer has... it says 10 times 2 for the middle, and 9 times 2 in the back. So archers actually do more damage if they're standing in the middle. So, okay. That should cover that. So now... Okay, good. The knight's going after Dio now. So now Dio is going to have his way with this team. And because his team is actually set up properly... Actually, I should probably fix up his formation a little bit. I should probably put that Amazon in the middle. See, the way... you've got rows, which determine your attacks. But the other thing to be considerate of is the fact that... like what columns you put people in. Because, of course, every unit is comprised of a 3x3 grid. So you got front, middle, and back, but you also have left, middle, and right. And the way it all works is, depending on what column you put a person in, determines what you can actually attack. So let's actually fix up this formation and put the archer in the middle there. Sorry, Amazon. Okay, Orwell found a great bow. So he has served his purpose, so let's send him back to Jad. Pause the game real quick. You can't actually pause when you're scrolling the screen, because when you're scrolling the screen, time is actually stopped automatically. So now what I want to do is... I want to take Lip and send her after Dawson. And now that those units are without leaders, they're pretty easy to pick off. The only hard part is actually catching them, because by default they'll just run away if they have no leader. So I was talking about what units you're allowed to hit depending on what column you are in. That battle is a bit of a bad example. But basically, you can only attack a column that is like the same as your column or adjacent to it. So let's take a look at Magnus's unit as an example. Right, formation. So you see Magnus, he's in the middle. So he can attack enemies that are in their own middle column or any column adjacent to it. So he can hit all three columns. But let's say this fighter and this Amazon, they're in the far left column. It's the right here, but when they're facing the enemy, that's the left column. So they can only hit enemies in the left column or the middle. They can't hit anything in the right column. Unless there's nothing left in the middle or the left. Then they can hit stuff in the right. But so they can only hit anything in their own column or the column beside it. And that's why it's one of the reasons why formation is important, because you want to be able to hit the appropriate enemies. So the more people you can put in the middle, the better. Because putting people in the middle, found an altar of resurrection there, but putting people in the middle means that they can hit any enemy. But the other thing to consider is the fact that it also means that any enemy can hit them as well. I'm going to send Dio out over there and give Magnus a bit of a chance to rest. Now, Lip is engaging this guy. Should only be a Griffin left. And they are engaging from the side. Now, Lip has these little fellows called Soldier Reserves, which are a bit of an odd folk. I should actually fix up her unit a little bit too, and put that other Soldier Reserve in the middle. A lot of times for finishing off a unit, you'll actually get an item from it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Lip down here. See, Orwell's fatigue just filled up, so he was forced to camp out. But there's no enemies on the side of the map, so I'm not worried. So basically, this guy has no leader, so he's just running away. So I'm sending Lip down here to kind of force him to run away from this guy, because this guy is Stabilo. He's guarding the Theodoricus mine. He's not going to chase after us or anything. He's this map's boss. But I want to, if I can, chase this headless guy away from this point in this direction. So now Dio is encountering this fellow over here at this other stronghold. This is a berserker. Berserkers are a lot like fighters, except a bit higher strength, a bit lower defense. You see right there, my Amazon got a critical hit on the berserker, and that actually knocked him back a row. You probably also noticed that my far right fighter wasn't able to actually hit the berserker despite my orders being to attack the leader. And that's just what I was saying about the columns. So before I go, Buchanan, 38 morale. So let's see. They're pretty neutral, so I should be able to capture or liberate that stronghold. Okay. So now this guy is kind of pinched in between, so I want to send Lip up to take care of him. And oh good, he's asleep. That gives me a good chance to catch up with him. Okay, he's done resting. Is this set to fastest? No, it is not. Okay. So now I'm in... Yes, thank you. So now I've encountered this unit when they're camping out. So when I start the battle, they will be asleep. Which, of course, puts them at a serious disadvantage. Now, anyways, as I was saying, Lip has these fellows called soldier reserves. And they're very odd types. Oh, darn it, I lost. Those hellhounds are nasty. And soldier reserves are kind of bad. Now, soldier reserves aren't technically actually units. You camp her out and let her regenerate some fatigue. And I guess I'll send Magnus in to at least chase this guy down, if not finish him off. I'll just send her after this guy. Now, soldier reserves are technically not actually units. They're quite literally like reserves. Well, I think they do actually have like stats, but that's not what I was looking for. Yeah, they do have stats, but they don't like level up or anything. They can't change classes like normal characters can. Nothing like that. They're literally, you know, what you put in that slot if you don't have anything else to put there. So, they're not very strong. They only get one attack no matter what place you put them in. Although if you put them in the same row, they do have the ability to combine their attacks so that they'll both attack together and do slightly more damage. But, just, you know, the best way to sum it up is just, you know, they're not very good at all. So I send Magnus here to rest up and stuff. But now the thing about soldier reserves is they actually have the ability to be promoted. I'm probably not going to be able to demonstrate that this battle. But it's kind of complex the way it works. Basically, it's very dependent on the unit leader. And it's also kind of depends on you actually winning battles, which makes it kind of hard. Especially when you're facing hellhounds, because hellhounds are very nasty. And, like I said, soldier reserves are bad. So I got catapulted away. Let's rest up. Now the other thing I should probably mention about soldier reserves is you can see that these groups here, these three groups, there's like 3 little guys, but if we look at this one, there's only 2. And the reason for that is each soldier reserve is technically made up of 3 soldiers. So whenever a soldier reserve takes 1/3 of its health damage, total, not like cumulative, not in one hit, one of the reserves will actually die. And that reduces how much damage they do, and also means that that reserve can no longer be healed above that 1/3 of their health. So, like the soldier reserve on the right there, its health actually can't go any higher because there's only 2 of them instead of 3. Now, the way promoting works is every time you win a battle, the leader of that unit gets a hidden experience amount, which sometimes it's usually referred to as something like soldier experience. And I believe the way it works is you get something like 3 soldier experience for every soldier reserve, or every soldier left alive whenever you win a battle. So for that win, I've got 3, 6, 9, 11 soldiers alive. So that would be like 33 soldier experience. And when that hits 100, one of your units will promote. And if the unit leader is a female, it will turn into an Amazon like these people. And if it is a male, it will turn into a male like these fighters. Or a fighter like those fighters. Now there is an item. Do you start with one of them? Yeah, an Ansate Cross, which lets you, if you give it to a unit, it lets you, when you promote a soldier, it will actually turn into the opposite gender of your leader. But yeah. Anyways, that's about it for today on Let's Play Ogre Battle 64. We take the mine tomorrow. So I will catch you later.